with us today, we have Rosie, who is a staff sales or solutions engineer. I'm sure she can clarify. And we are going to hear from her. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I realize that the title of this talk is Everything That You Need to Know About Customer-Facing Roles in Tech, and it's a short session, so I'm gonna see if I can boil it down. So my own frame of reference is that I come from outside technology. So what I realized very clearly is that for everybody to feel comfortable and succeed in facing customers, there are 3 pillars, right? In a nutshell, you need to be willing to and feel comfortable with being responsible for the customer's experience. You see in the SaaS world, there's a term, I think it's all tech world, there's a term CX, you're seeing that. That's customer experience. When you are representing the company, you are defining that customer's experience. And in business to business, it means that this person may have personally signed for millions of dollars worth of obligation, or somebody around them has committed to succeeding. And so there's a lot of pressure on your customer, and your role is to make them feel comfortable. So the 3 pillars are this, none of them technical. Number 1, you are obligated and tasked with building trust. So the skill is you have the ability to build trust through sincerity, through curiosity, which translates to you're comfortable talking to strangers. This is definitely different than talking to strangers in an interpersonal way. I'm kind of like an introverted extrovert. So in business, I'm pretty extroverted. With friends, I'm pretty extroverted. But put me in a room full of strangers and I will do a lot of listening. I also have found that if I break my personality rule and sitting at a lunch counter and I lean over and go, hey, let me say some casual talk to you, I've definitely picked somebody who's absolutely not going to respond to me. So I don't do that. But I do know that being comfortable talking to somebody who needs my help has to be key, right? Number 2, a willingness to help and the tenacity to see it through. This opens up the knowledge that your customer is coming to you with a business problem and they're looking to you to help them maintain their success in their career, and they're looking to you to further their career, right? They have a problem they need to solve. Someone is waiting for them to solve it. You are absolutely responsible for making them feel like that's possible. You may have the answer, you may not have the answer, you may need to introduce them to somebody, they may need to take a class, but honestly, your entire job is the ability to be chill and to help them feel confident that you are confident that everything's going to be fine, right? The last pillar is the ability to detach. Detach, but remain positive and empathic. And this aligns to a book that I go back to over and over again called The 4 Agreements. It's Don Miguel Ruiz, and this is a kind of Toltec philosophy about life. Don't take anything personally, right? This is a situation when you are customer facing, you are talking to people whose job might be on the line, who may have been telling their superior that they've got something handled. Often their boss has promised promises and the team may not have been able to focus on whatever it is. And here you are having to talk them off the ledge. All of these things are personality parts. I have never felt that the obligation to solve the thing in the minute if I built trust with the customer and I assured them that I would help them navigate. I'm called the producer sometimes because I will bring people into the room who have the exact expertise that's required. And I may have that expertise myself, or I may not. And the customer won't care, right? A lot of people will come into this kind of role, thinking that they need to have all the answers, that they need to have absolutely mastered whatever technology it is that they've been asked to master, which is, it takes a long time to get to know whether it's software or hardware, and new companies' technology. So if you come into a support role, even if there's a run book to follow, you still want to sound like you know what you're talking about. So that defines, really, for me, the minimum amount of information that I need to have about some new product. I've been at Splunk for 12 years now. And if there's a new product I need to talk about, I still have to sound like I know what I'm talking about, right? So to me, that's going to be a minimum of information, essentially, that's enough so I don't sound stupid, right? So I don't inadvertently kind of stumble over something that is the expertise of the person I'm talking to. Then I need to understand, of those things that I have to have a solid understanding of what it is. I mean, I need the ability to implement whatever that thing is, but I need to kind of understand the jargon and the structure and essentially what the customer is going to need. The next thing is I need to know, how do I need to actually apply that? How deep am I expected to perform this magic trick? Do I need to, over the shoulder, tell them what to type? Will I need to understand particular use cases? I don't need to know all of them. I definitely don't need to know all of them. So to me, being a customer facing role is really getting good answers on what I actually, what level I need to have knowledge right out of the gate. People will accumulate knowledge in customer facing roles, of the technology, whatever that might be, over time. But your main job is making people feel comfortable and confident that they're going to get the help that they need, right? So I'm here to answer questions, if folks have them. And I don't, there's not too many. There's a little bit of a rah in there. But if anybody has any questions, consider this and ask me anything. Give it a second. And then if not, I'll just keep going. Janet has asked, how do you build the knowledge base for the role? Like, how do you find out who has the expertise to respond appropriately? That's a good question. I have built over time a really strong ecosystem within the company that I'm at. And that ecosystem was built out really early on. The way I did that was I volunteered for stuff. The way to get to know people at a company, whatever that size is, to me, was to volunteer for booth duty at conferences, to volunteer to participate in every discussion group, in every kind of project there is, to reach out to people in different areas and just introduce yourself and get to know them and dig in, because those are the people who, even after you've just had coffee with them, whether it's virtual or not, you can then reach out to them and ask them a question, and ask somebody who may have been around longer, who should I talk to, right? But I build that ecosystem because I depend on it. I'm, in my role as a solution engineer, I'm kind of a country doctor. I have a generalist knowledge of stuff. So if ever I need to dive deep, I'll go grab somebody to do it. Next question. How do you know when to use your introversion or your extroversion in a situation that will serve you well? So the introversion helps me when it comes to being empathetic. A good example of this was a customer situation where the person who was the main admin for our software was new to the company, and she was experiencing all kinds of stuff, like she had a sinus infection, there was all kinds of stuff that kept her from having paid any attention. I think there was pneumonia involved. She was definitely not ready to dive in right there. And there were 6 or 7 people on the call, nobody sharing. I was the only one on camera. I'm a big believer on camera. And essentially the sales rep, because I'm part of the sales team, was pushing to dig in right there. And so my introvert said, you know what, what I'd like to do is let's make another appointment. And I asked this woman who was responsible for all of it, would you mind if we waited till next time, and then let's set up 90 minutes and we'll just see where you're at, see what the lay of land, and I think we can really do this on our own. So that was, I think, my introvert saving the day for the person who was responsible and not on camera, right? Do you have any go-to phrases that work well to de-escalate or to handle situations? Yes. So there's a couple. I was trained really early on. My first role in tech was support, and it was long enough ago that there were no cameras. So you had to listen to somebody, and there were things that you could do, a couple of things that you could do. One of them was to never say, I understand, especially if somebody is stressed, right? It's absolutely not going to help because you don't understand where they're coming from, right? But there were two things that I have found that really helped. If it's one-on-one and you're in an office situation, absolutely telling them you're going to go consult with a colleague. If it's okay with you, I would like to step away for a minute because I see a colleague I'd really like to consult with, because I think they can help us. Giving them a minute to have you feel like you're actually doing something, and whether you come back with information or not, because usually I just was taking a sip of coffee or something like that, was not really important, because the language is a danger zone, right? But giving them a minute to breathe after telling them you're going to go do them a favor, that escalates the situation. If you're one-to-one on camera and you're having a situation where you either don't know how to answer something or they're losing their grip, I think that the language of the customer support comes to me. I can see this is really stressful for you. I hear you, I see you, right? I can see how this would be really nightmarish, and I want to help you. Will you let me help you? Because I think I can. Absolutely works. I don't want to say every time because I'm going to jinx myself now, but really just being sincere and saying, I'm going to help you. It'll be okay. I'm going to help you. Let's figure out how I can help you. That will de-escalate. When it is a leader trying to latch on to what they promised to their senior vice president is going to help you. Think of that as discovery. Can you tell me what would help you feel? What can I do for you right now? What can I help you with right here? Is there something I can do to make this feel more comfortable for you? I'm not doing anything. I'm opening the floor for them to either dump all over me, or tell me what they want. Not everybody's going to actually be able to tell you what they want. And so I think that helps a lot to just break out of it and really just be focused. We work with a web firm, and they use a lot of our time patients giving unclear answers to questions about timeline and what they'll deliver. Is there anything I can do from the client side to encourage more communication and being real on? Okay. Yes. As a customer, being really specific about what you need and what you want will help someone who may have boundaries that they're dealing with, certain areas that they support sometimes of any kind is very narrow. Sometimes support is capable of helping, and sometimes they're looking to see if something's broken. If something's broken, they're going to help be able to open a ticket, right? If it's something where you're going to need help, they may have to ask someone else. So as a customer, basically telling them exactly what you need and being okay if this particular person that you're dealing with isn't the person to help you, and then trying to really suss out, are they in the way, right? Are they not capable? Have they not heard my talk about what their job is? And are they not capable of helping you get what you need? That's the advice that I would give to help somebody be better at customer success, and help you improve your customer experience. Oh, someone asked, how do you deal when they lose their absolute on you and not take it personally? It's never personal. It's never, well, I won't say never. Okay. When it is personal, there's nothing you can do about that. I just met you. We're in business situation. If you don't like the way my New York accent irritates you, there is nothing I can do about that. And that comes down also to the 4 agreements, where essentially, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know who I remind them of. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. But if it's not expressed in a human insulting way, right? If they're not getting personal, then honestly, just listening. If you take it personally, if you feel that they must be talking about you, consider that you are not necessarily in a phase of life that this role is going to be fun for you, right? Sometimes it's just not there. And it may be that that's the time where you want to shift that role, right? Because it's never going to be personally about you. Even if you gave them a wrong answer, we're all in business. People could say, you know what, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Most people should be reasonable about that, even if it got them in trouble or whatever. I'll talk to your boss. Let me apologize to your boss. Like, I'll do everything I possibly can to make this better for you. If they just absolutely cannot, it's still not you. It's just never going to be you. They don't know you. It's not your family. Your family will be about you. You know, anybody else, it's always about them. Do I have advice for someone who is kind of structured, framework oriented for reaction to reactions? This is really, I don't know if this is, I'm not really sure if this is something I've gained over time, but essentially this is an understanding of the line between, business and personal. When you come to the table with a customer, they have everything at stake. Now, you are supposed to either gain revenue or gain success points, or you're definitely judged on the outcome of the meeting, but they will have everything at stake. They have put their trust in your company at some level and invested in a ton, right? So that's going to be higher stakes.
Thank you, Rosie. That was really insightful. I definitely learned a lot, and so did everyone. I could tell by all the emojis.